Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for your time. I do sincerely appreciate it every single time you click on one of my videos. Today's crochet catch up, I've got a couple of maybe consider it a finished project. But most excitingly is that I have your keepsake blankets. Your names have been drawn. I'm ready to announce who is going to be the recipient of, I've got 2 keepsake blankets done up for you guys. So I'm going to do that at the end of the video. And I am also at the end of the video going to talk about my reptiles a little bit and maybe bring them out for a show. I've talked about them a little bit along the way and sort of hinted that I might have you just go over to my other personal channel and watch some updates, but I haven't done that. And then that's connecting me to like a reptile community, and I don't know that I want to do that. So I think I'm just going to post it here at the end of this video, so you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. And I appreciate it if you are interested in my little love critters here. So first and foremost is I want to talk about the basket that I was working on when you guys saw me last. It was just the bottom section here, and I'm holding 3 strands of yarn together, the first 2 being orange and different shades here, and then some tan. And I really didn't want to make this, like I said, a Home Depot basket, so I did incorporate some other colors, and I was trying to, you know, keep the colors somewhat cohesive. I don't really have that many left, so this is what we've got. So here's the Home Depot down here, and then I added some maroon and then added a blue to it, and then kind of came back to some tan and then ran out, and then, or did I finish with a tan? It's kind of hard to tell. Nope, I think that one's the purple. I think it's given me some purple vibe, a little bit different than the tan down here. Then here's the purple up here. So it's one of those that is just going to be a nice little project bag. Sometimes when I'm walking from upstairs to downstairs, I don't have enough hands to carry what I'm going to carry. So I do have these sitting, a couple upstairs and a couple downstairs, so that I can, you know, group carry things when I'm traversing levels of the house. So just one more fun little basket. And this was made with the Ogo scraps that I was working with. And I have just a little bit left. I'm still down to, you know, I've got some red that kind of kicks out a little bit. And then I do have some more orange that I could have put into the Home Depot bag that I chose not to. And then of course I had so much of that fuchsia color. So we'll see what comes of that, but I've kind of got that worked out of my craw for now. So I can put that to the side. The other thing that I had told you that I was working on was I had made this C2C baby blanket out of this great Sweet Delight Chunky Mint Charm. It's a 5 bulky, and I had a couple of, I think 5 of these, and 5 skeins, and the blanket came out of 3.5 skeins. So then I did the C2C, and then I did some little front loop. I didn't do post stitches, I just did front loop, back loop. So it only gives a little bit, and it doesn't dip down. When you do a front post or a back post stitch, the double crochet shrinks down just a little bit to get under that stitch there. So I like to sometimes just do in the loop and not a post stitch. So that was 3.5 skeins, and then I had some more, and I talked about wanting to do some of those lovey things that I had made, snuggle bugs or whatever. And I'm not trying to copyright or anything. I don't even remember what she called them, but I was trying to call them something different on purpose. So we've got some sleepy eyes and some awake eyes, and the smirk was really fun to do. I think this one with the little nose that I did looks too much like a kitten or a bunny or something. So what I did to match the baby blanket was in this green, and I went down. The yarn calls for, what size does the yarn call for? Hook size is 6.5. And I went down to, I don't think I have it right here. Maybe this is it. I went down to a 5.5. I told y'all I was going to try to do the yarn under method that you're supposed to do for amigurumi. Didn't work out. So this is just straightforward crochet, and then I just came up with some little square tops because it's kind of easy to do. So I'm still deciding on the face, but at least I got the stuffy done. And so I do have a little bit of that left. Oh, here is where I was working on the front, or the yarn under. I don't know, it just wasn't working out. I wasn't feeling it. And every single stitch was a thought. I was not getting like a rhythm going at all. So I just didn't want to do that one anymore. So I will recap the showing of my keepsake blanket. I didn't do a very good job, I think, of showing you when I originally showed it to you. I do still have all of my ends to sew in, and that can maybe benefit me. I'm still kind of deciding. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it alone. I kind of considered this blanket like the first pancake of the batch. It doesn't always turn out right. You kind of learn from it maybe a little bit. You add a little more milk to your mix or something like that. So this was my rough draft. This was my first attempt. This was what really took the most heart and soul out of me, that I then built on to do the others. So I like it. I know that a lot of you maybe think it looks poorly done, but I don't care. And I thank you for sharing the feedback with me. I mean, you did so in a very kind way, and I appreciate any feedback that you guys give me, as long as it's constructive, or filled with hugs and kisses in the comment. Because I know that everything I'm going to do, what I'm going to do isn't going to always be perfect. And that's kind of why I share it with you, because I'm not perfect. I'm just like you guys. And, I'm not the only one like me. And if you can find somebody who's like you and thinks like you and works like you and processes like you, then it feels comfortable. And that's kind of what I'd like to create here with you guys. So I'll go ahead and share the blanket with you again. I'll do so at the end in a much better way, but just so that you can kind of see. I did some, if you didn't see it the first go around, I did some jagged edges on purpose. I did some, it's not a square blanket or a rectangle blanket by any means. And so I did this on purpose, and I like it, and I'm not sorry for the way that it turned out. And I enjoy my blanket very much, and I can sit on an evening, when I've kind of got nothing else to do, and slowly work in these ends instead of it being part of my project like it was for your guys' blankets. I think the first one that I did, maybe I did it all at the end, but the second one I was doing it as I went, and then it went much faster. So see, like at the end again, or at the corner again, I've got it sticking up a little bit. I showed you guys where maybe I pulled some squares where I should have maybe taken a better learned from. I don't know. It's always a process. I'm always just rambling out at the mouth, aren't I? Just sharing it as I go. But so this was a challenge, and I loved every minute of it, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's exactly what I didn't even know I wanted. I wasn't able to really envision what it might look like, because it was going to be all so different, and also every which way, every sizes, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to do that on purpose. Okay. So again, I love this blanket. I thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for participating. This was really exciting for me. Okay. So now I will show you the first blanket that I made. They're folded up, and so I don't remember. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so the first one that I made, I really paid attention to not stretching any of the squares out, so that I do feel like they fit the way that they're supposed to fit. I did uneven edges like on mine a little bit. I kind of thought like that was part of the charm of the blanket, and maybe you don't, so that's okay. I would love to hear feedback either way. Whoops. So, and when I was making it, it's kind of like if you're going to go eat some leftovers, and you've got the container in there, and you want to eat maybe this much, but then you look at what's being left over, and it's not really enough for a full serving. So you try to decide, do I want my full serving now, or do I want to eat the partial serving and leave one full serving for later for somebody else, for me or for somebody else, whatever. So that's kind of what I was up against when I was separating out the squares. I kind of tried to do one for one for one for one so that they were completely even with each other, but that ran out. So, you know, it was just a work in progress to try to make one cohesive, and then I would do my best to learn from that one and make the second one as cohesive as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Here is the first one that I made for you. Now, there are a couple of spaces where I did leave a hole like I did on mine, but I went around it with a single crochet, so there is like a border in there, and it does feel a little bit more secure than mine did. I used just, I think 2 rounds here of the, I did 1 single crochet round and then 1 half double crochet for the border. And here is where one of these spaces is. So I couldn't make it exactly perfect, but I did line the square with a single crochet round, and I think it looks really great. So again, I will show this in a full picture of itself at the end here in just a bit, but here is the first one. So for the winners, I'm going to ask you to tell me which one you prefer. And winners, I don't know if your name was drawn. I'm going to ask the first person whose name was drawn first, to choose which one you would like. Some of you in your cards, when you sent me the squares, you said to keep your name out of the drawing. Thank you very much. So we did that. And yeah, so hang on for who the winners are. Hold on, let me show you the second. I keep saying winners. I hope you feel like a winner. This was a group project, so I feel like my community is a group winner for it. So thank you very much for that. So for the second blanket for you guys, which is actually my third blanket here, I worked in blocks. So I took a group of the squares that were designated for this blanket and worked it into a square or into a rectangle that I had even edges. So there is not an uneven edge around this border. This border is squared off. It's a little bit smaller than the first one, and I didn't get all of the squares into it. I think I still have I still have all those ones, Dina, from you, from those pink ones that came with your thrifted yarn. So to that I added, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 small squares from ones that you guys had sent. So my granddaughter is going to get a doll Afghan for to put those all together so that they are going to be used. Thank you. Okay, this one I bordered with a half double crochet instead of a single, and then I did double crochets. So the border does look a little bit different, but I kind of think that, I mean, I like them all individually for their own reasons. So here is the second one. And so in saying that there were no uneven sides, there are no holes, no specific, what am I trying to say? I didn't put any of those spacer holes like this in this blanket. This one, everybody is touching everybody. So on all sides. So, you know, I do think that it looks a little more manicured, if that's what my term is. So I put a couple, I had some willow squares left over, so I put in a couple of willow squares, and I had some, what is this one? This is a corner to corner done in the granny square. So it's a little bit different than a normal corner to corner because you've got it in the granny square, but it still sits on the corner shape like that. So I had some of those left over from a previous make, and I thought, you know, if all of my viewers are, you know, participating and sending in squares, I can add some squares to the mix as well. You guys are helping me deal with my stash, which is kind of what my channel is about, right? When you have a yarn you don't know what to do with, well, I have some squares left over I didn't know what to do with, so you guys have got them in your blankets now. So thank you so much for those who participated. I appreciate you so much. Okay, so drum roll. Okay, so my drawers, the first person I drew was Shelly. So Shelly, if you would please let me know down below which of the 2 blankets you would prefer. And I sent thank yous to everybody, thank you cards to everybody. That is the address that I am going to use to ship this to you. So no more personal information has to be exchanged at this point. Just let me know which of the blankets you prefer, and I will use the same address that I shipped out my thank you card to you. If you did not receive my thank you card, Shelly, please let me know, and we'll figure something out from there. My second winner, the second name drawn, is Samantha. So thank you so very much for all that you have added to the channel, both of you, Shelly and Samantha. I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that the blanket feels like a little thank you or a little gift to you from just being such a great person. So again, you guys, Shelly, my first drawing name, my first name drew, the first name that I drew. Wow, English hard today. And my second is Samantha. So you guys let me know if you sent in squares and those are your names. Respond to me down below to let me know which of the blankets you prefer, and I'll get those shipped out. I really wanted to get them done before Christmas so that maybe you would receive them in time for Christmas, if Christmas is a holiday for you. Otherwise, I'm just going to send it out as soon as I get some response from you and we get some confirmation of which blanket you would like. So thank you so much for everybody who has followed along my little storyline of my keepsake blankets. I hope it wasn't too, long and drawn out. It kind of feels a little long in the process. I think I asked for the squares in the beginning of August. So I hope that you feel happy with the way that all went. And, everything I do on this channel is a learning experience with you guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now, if there is no interest from you in my reptiles, then I will say thank you and goodbye right now. Otherwise, just hang on for a minute. I will, first I will put in some video of the blankets all stretched out so that you can see them better. And then at the end of that, I will go into my reptile stuff. So thank you so much for sitting with me today. I sincerely appreciate you. Have a wonderfully blessed day. And I do hope you'll come back and see me again. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. this is my normal morph. He is the first snake that I got. His name is Ezzy. I wasn't sure if he was male or female before I had his DNA tested, so I named him Ezra just in case the name would fit either way. He's absolutely beautiful. Again, he was the first snake I got, and he was only a year old when I got him, so he was very, much smaller than this, and now I just weighed him. Weighs in at 700 grams, so he is getting to be a big boy, and I just absolutely love him. He is another one that looks like kind of two snakes sometimes. See at his head, the background color looks to be the red, and it looks like these orange pieces are his saddles. But then as the snake goes on, you can see that his saddles are actually the red color, and the lighter color is the background color or the foundation color. So he's got a couple of spots here, or saddles, that look like bones. I always like that. And so, yeah, I walked into the pet store and asked to hold a snake. I said, I am not in any way, shape, or form going to get a snake, but I would really like to hold one. And so they pulled out his mama and let me hold her, and I fell in love. So I don't know if it was just couple weeks later, I went back and I got him. And again, he was very, very small because he was just a year old, and they kept him in a very small container, so he didn't grow very big. I received other snakes that were younger and larger than him. So, yeah, so this is Ezzy, and he's my most favorite first snake ever. I love, love, love him. I'm going to call them all my favorite, just so that you know. Hi, bud. So again, Ezzy is my normal morph. He is about 5 years old, and the normal morph means that that's probably what you might find out in the wild. Those are the regular normal colors that you might find out in the wild. Now this is my amel. Amelanistic means that he has no black pigment. We named him Edgar, like Edgar Winter. If you know any rock and roll, he is an albino. So I thought that fit for this guy. Now what happened with him is that when I got my first snake, Ezzy, at just a baby, he was just 15 grams, so he was a tiny little noodle. And I got him home, and I told my husband, I don't feel like I have a snake. I feel like I have a worm, and I want a snake. So we went back to the pet shop, and asked them if they had any adults that they would be willing to get rid of. And they decided to look into their breeding stock, and that they had a couple of amel males. So they let me buy him. They said he was about 4 or 5 at the time. They weren't quite sure how old he was. And I've had him for 5 years already. So they say this corn snakes live 10 to 20 years. So I don't know when to sort of enter that time frame of, he's still very strong. He's still very aware. He loves my husband. When my husband comes in the room, he will come out of hiding and say hello. But he is very aware. He did bite me once. I was taking their food out from the freezer and didn't think that he would be able to smell it because it was still frozen, and he snapped it. He tried to bite me, or he did bite me, and I put him away and then fed them, and within a week or so was holding him again. So you got to get back on the horse. You got to get back with the snake. It was my fault that he bit me. I should not have had food out while I was holding him, and he's never bit me since. So that poor handling is the fault of the human, not of the animal. And these corn snakes are only going to use their mouth if they are trying to eat. They do not bite in a defensive manner. So I will also say that he is my favorite. He is my love. He was my first full-sized snake. And he gets really pretty. When they go into shed, this orange color of his saddle becomes like a maroon color. I'll try to grab a picture of that if I have one handy and insert it so that you can see. He's just gorgeous. And he's about 870 grams, so he's my biggest. All right, everyone, meet Olive. She is 3.5 years old. She is a sun-kissed anery. So the anery is anerythristic, and it means that she doesn't have any red pigment in her. So she's all the blacks and the yellows. The yellow came in over time, so she started out all gray. And as you can see here, the colors in her saddles are not solid colors. They're sort of blown out a little bit. So that's the sun-kissed morph. And she is my most feisty. She is my only female, but we've also heard that the sun-kissed makes them a little cuckoo. Or, maybe a little, not cuckoo, but just a little more feisty. So she's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if we can focus in on her face here, but she started out completely gray, and then the yellow on her face started to come in slowly over time. So she's just absolutely gorgeous. I love her. But she does stay hidden a lot. She wants to strike it every time I go to the enclosure. She will strike first. So I put something up if it isn't feeding time, and then she retracts, and then I can pick her up. So she's 3.5 years old, and I absolutely love her. I got her as a replacement from South Mountain Reptiles, who I received a snake from. I purchased a snake from them that I think was maybe too early to be sold, and she died just shortly after I got her. So this was a replacement that I did not set out to get, but I absolutely love her. She's my girl. And this is the most recent addition to our snaky family. This is, I call him CT for Caramel Tessera. Both of those words are debatable. It's either caramel or caramel, and it's either Tessera or Tessera. So what that morph does is this pixelation along the side of his body, as well as this stripe that goes from his head all the way down. And you can find this stripe in any variation of broken pattern. See, here's a couple indents and here's an outdent of the stripe. But when I saw the picture of this guy and his siblings, this was the most complete stripe, and that's kind of what I wanted. When I first started to get my snakes, I said, I do not want a yellow snake. And now I have 2 of them, so I find that rather interesting. CT is just 2 years old. He just passed his 2nd birthday, and I've had him for about 1.5 years. I got him from Sarah's Snake Shop. If you don't know her on YouTube, please go check her out. I adore Sarah. She has been a foundation of the snake information that I've learned. Through YouTube, I would go on and try to find snake information. And the world is all about ball pythons and cobras and venomous and things like that. But there wasn't a lot of corn snake information. See, he's pretty flinchy. Every time I reach out to, he might bump his nose on something and flinch back quite a bit. I'd like to show you his very beautiful eyes, because they're not solid black. You can see he's got some green in there. I wish I could focus a little bit better, but he is beautiful. He's a love. He does not strike at me. He is growing like a weed. He's already 330 grams. So, other than kind of being flinchy at the headspace, when we get a little bit too close, he might bounce away a little bit. But otherwise, he's just amazing. Just a wonderful snake, and I love him to death. Their bellies are always interesting depending on what morph. Like my normal morph, my Ezzy, his belly is solid checkers. The Amel that doesn't have any black in him doesn't have checkers on his belly at all. Those are all just like, you can kind of see the outline of what it might have been, but there's no color to his tummy. And then on this guy, he's got it kind of broken up. That's more of that tessera pattern that kind of breaks up their stomach pattern. So there you go. Those are my corn snaky family. Thank you, Crochet family, for having any interest in my reptiles. I would not do these videos on my personal channel because I am not a corn snake person enough to talk smoothly for them. So thanks for your interest in my corn snake family, and I'll see you in my next crochet video. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye-bye.